Hello, hello, everyone, and welcome to today's show. They love us out there. So today we want to welcome our new guest and give you an opportunity to please introduce yourselves, panelists.
Hello, my name is Joyner.
Hi, this is Debra. Welcome back to the show. We're gonna do another great episode for you guys, so buckle up and tune in.
So today, our topic, we want the guys to chime in. We want to know, men, how do you feel about being in a woman's rotation? Give a little backstory. A few ladies and, some other podcasts and just people in general talking about women dating all of them. Like, hey, ladies, if you got 4 or 5, date them all, right? To see who you really like, see what sparks your interest, or whatever other reason they choose to date them all. I want to hear from the men. How do you feel about being in that rotation? So have at it. The floor is yours.
As I stated, to each its own. Me personally, me being aware of it, I think it's great. However, being an option, I would feel a type of way about that. Because,
Elaborate.
because as a man, if you're chasing that woman or you want to pursue that woman, you would hope that you get the same type of attention back. You wouldn't want to be just seen as a free meal or a free date or anything else other than that. Because as men, I think we don't really waste time. Well, some do. Some do waste time chasing the ones that they don't really want. They just want something from. And then there's some that really do want to have a relationship with that female. That's
So
in my opinion.
how do you make that known?
Same way as she did. If you know up front that you're a part of her prospects, likewise say the same thing. If that's what the meal is about too as well, make sure you both say, hey, I have a bunch of other prospects and I'm not saying you're the one that I want to be with, but just being upfront from the beginning, I think starts it off even better instead of playing games or the mystery game of if or how or why. There's too many of that going around today.
Deborah, ladies, how do you feel about this?
Hey, Lizzie. I honestly, I've never been a rotation type of person, so
First,
um,
first, before you go too deep, I want to know your feedback to what our panelists say. How do you feel
so
about
with
his
dating
views?
this way,
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
definitely. So for me, I am. I mean, I agree with the date them all until somebody shows that they're worth it, right? I definitely feel like the communication, again, that goes back to communicating to people that like I am dating. I'm actively dating different people right now, but I also feel like if you are wanting to be a more serious prospect to me, then you also have to be able to present and show yourself that way, show up that way and be consistent in that way. And that's where a lot of men lack is with the consistency, because just because you know that I'm dating other people, you don't know what those dates look like. You don't know what that entails. So, showing up as the best version of yourself is really how you get locked in to be a more serious prospect. But if you just doing the same thing that everybody else doing and, hey, beautiful every morning, or what you doing me to death, you're going to be in the same boat as everybody else. And you're just going to remain in rotation.
Mm. So tell the guys out there that are listening, how can they become number one? How can they make you put the rest of the roster on the bench and say, you know what, this is my starter right here?
Step up. Like, step up. Like, show me
Be
something
specific.
different. Like, okay, like, instead of like, yes, a good morning text is fine, but like, show that you can lead something. Like, call me and say, hey, what do you got planned today? You know what I'm saying? Set up a date. And don't just ask me, what you doing, and then you don't respond for another 2 days. You get what I'm saying? Or I respond and I tell you what I'm doing. And I could say something as simple as, I'm running errands right now, but I'm free later. And then you do absolutely nothing. You just say, oh, okay. You get what I'm saying? Like, you got to show, for me at least, you got to show that you can take the lead and you can actually like put a thought together, put a date together. You know what I'm saying? And do that on a consistent basis. And it does not always have to include money. I will say that men always think that, it has to be a money thing or you got to spend money. Like, it doesn't always have to be that. You know what I'm saying? Let's go for a walk. Let's go for a ride, like ride and drive and listen to R&B. And you get what I'm saying? Have some conversations. Like, those type of things are priceless because those are things that most men won't do. So when you can step out of the box and just kind of show yourself to be a little different and again, be consistent, you can easily place yourself in a number one spot, especially with what's happening out here today in the dating world. But that's just me. What do you think, Lizzie?
I actually agree with everything you said, actually. I mean, like everything that you said. I can't even add to it. There's nothing more to add. You covered it all.
There you
So,
go. There's
so
your
here's the
advice.
question. Okay. So GMS, what do you have for them? What do you have for the ladies? They're telling you how to get out of the rotation. So Liz, I know you joined us, and for the late listeners. So our guest said that when being in a rotation, you know, it's to each his own. He'll have to deal with it, but it's not his preference, right? And if this is someone that he's interested in, he wants to let her know that, hey, I want to be exclusive, right? So we're trying to determine what is the path to becoming exclusive. Hey, Tavana, TT, welcome in. And we have a guest today. I wanted to
Hey,
get this feedback,
Savannah.
and we want to know, how can a man, what does he have to do to make you put that roster aside and say, hey, you know what? I've dated a few, I have 3, 4, 5 guys, whatever, co-worker, someone I bumped into, someone that you may have had a crush on, and you feeling that way, someone that your girlfriend tried to play hookup with. There's always 4 or 5 prospects out there, right? The homecoming, hey, how you been, blah, blah, blah. And our guest wants to know, how can he be number one?
He can't.
I knew Tavana was going to say, Tavana said, if you make someone the one and only, she's going to be missing out because she has these boxes that needs to be checked. And it's practically impossible for one person to possess all 15 things. So to make sure all of those needs are met, if she needs a 3-man roster, 5-man rotation, that's what it's going to be. And I respect that because my main requirement is honesty. If you let me know that, hey, I'm dating a few other people, here's what we have going on, you never have to get into details with me because I'm just being honest. I'm going to assume that you're lying. So don't say, oh, well, I'm not sleeping with any of these other guys. It doesn't matter. I'm going to say to myself that you are. So we don't even have to go into details. I didn't sleep with this one or whatever. All of that is irrelevant.
How you
As
gonna
long as
Why
you're
be
can't
doing
you take
lying?
her?
What's
But
the
why
point?
can't you take her at face
Right.
value? Because 9 times out of 10, and I'm just gonna say this from my experience, there could be a couple that I'm talking to that technically are on the roster, but trust and believe, ain't all of them ain't getting the cooch. It's
I,
really
I,
probably
and
only one of them that's getting the cooch.
I 100% believe you, right? But what I'm saying is, for me, I've been in too many situations where I was the person that they've lied and said they've never touched, right? I know that people lie. Men do it as well. I know women lie a lot. Women lie a lot to each other. They feel each other out, and if and then like, you women are outspoken, right? And I don't know if you realize it, that you all are outspoken, you're leaders. That is intimidating to a lot of women, right? That don't possess those traits. So when you're
Which one?
talking
That's a whole
around them,
nother show.
it is. But when they're speaking around you, and you be like, "Oh, you slept with him?" Like they're gonna feel your response, your reaction. "Oh no, girl, we just went out. I just went to buy me some dinner." Or blah blah blah. They do that, right? And a lot of things that some women do are to impress, or I shouldn't say impress. I'll find another term to use, but basically
The
to
one
be
up.
accepted
It's
by
not
other
to
women,
impress, it's to one up
right?
other
Trying to
women.
one up another woman, be accepted by women in that circle, and a lot of people suffer from the fear of being left out, right? So when
Well,
you
that's
say,
a whole
"Oh,
nother show. Let's stay on the topic because
girl, he
you done
didn't
gone
sleep
on a
with
whole
me.
nother topic.
Girl, I didn't sleep with him. He just paid my bill. He just paid that blah blah." So then they're going to start saying the same things, right?
Oh
They're going to
God, that's
deny
a
that they
whole
slept with
nother
that brother,
show.
right? But
I
because it
look
doesn't
at
make
it
a
like this.
difference. Hmm.
I look at it like this, right? Like for the, and I always am gonna bring it back to who I am as a person. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? There is not a thing on this earth that I'm gonna do that I'm going to be ashamed to say I did. And that's the thing for me. If I can't say that I did it, I'm not doing it. So, and
Amen.
I'm grown. I'm a grown ASS woman, right? So there's absolutely no need for me to lie to you because I can't get in trouble. Like, what are you going to do? Give me a spanking? You know what I'm saying? Like, what am I lying for?
But you all are very,
Exactly.
very, very, very rare. I spoke to a young lady a couple of days ago, 49, she's 50, I think, 49 or 50, somewhere in there. And I told her that, I encourage parents to encourage honesty from their kids, right? Don't blow up, don't overreact, get them to become honest because when they're afraid of you and intimidated, they become adults that are liars. And I was like, man, I've dealt with grown people in their 40s that are afraid to discuss things with their parents. I know my parents and I had unique relationships. Tafana and her dad has a unique relationship, right? I wish everyone was able to be as open with their parents as we are. But when people oppress who they really are, they have their parents thinking that they're someone that they're not, right? And this young lady, she was like, well, we don't do that. You don't have those discussions with your parents. And you have a lot of people that never, ever, ever talked about or discussed sex with their parents. They have children, they've been married, relationships, but that's just taboo, right?
Them the ones without a roster. I can
Right.
promise you that.
No, they
Right.
have a
Them,
roster.
them is the
No, no,
absolute
No, they
ones
don't.
without a
they have a
roster.
No, they
roster.
don't.
They just
No,
lie
they
about
don't.
their roster. That's what I'm
No,
getting at.
ain't,
They lie
ain't,
about their
no, no, no,
roster
no, 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 no.
and
Well,
they
well,
deny
I
having the
would,
roster.
but you don't really have a roster if you're lying. Cause you're not, it's not really a roster if you're lying because a roster, everybody got to work together. So it can't be no lies. Like everybody got to know their role on the team. Everybody, you know what I'm saying? This is a team sport. So if you're lying, that's not a roster. I don't know what you call it because I don't do that, but it ain't a roster.
Well, they view it
Right.
as their roster. A lot of women have rosters and the players don't know they're on the same team. A lot of men have
Then
no
that's not a
idea
roster.
they're on the
Have you
same
ever
team.
have you ever heard of a basketball team where the players don't know each other?
Hey, I
Okay, I
agree.
rest my case. Thank you.
Right. Right, Savannah.
But they have a crew. They have a hidden roster. They have a hidden roster, or what they call they have men on layaway. They got
Nah,
a
they got a
squad.
bunch of sneaky links because that's what that is. That's a bunch of sneaky links.
So that is the thing. I want to know if these women talking about dating them all, are they willing to be open and honest about the fact that they're dating multiple people? They're dating multiple men.
Nah, they
Well,
won't. They won't be.
women,
They
cause
won't be honest about it.
women. First of all,
Okay.
let's be very clear. A lot of women, most women, don't date properly anyway, right? So let's just you gotta start there, right? Because dating is supposed to be more than it's supposed to be plural. It's not supposed to be singular. Dating is a process in which you are vetting potential suitors to see who you like and who you don't. Weed out, you know what I mean? And men should date too. Everybody should date. And most people don't date properly, especially in our culture. If get your phone number, we might
talk on the phone. As soon as we start talking on the phone, she calling her homegirl, girl, oh my God, I met him. You know him 2 days. And then y'all go to dinner and you still all swooning. And then in your little mind, that's your man. Huh? That's not dating. Dating is John on Monday, Joe on Tuesday, and Tommy on Wednesday, and a couple more throughout whatever. How you date. Because how do you know who you like and who you don't like? And as you see the red flags in each one of these people that you are dating, you remove them. And it's
So will
almost
the
like
comparison ever end? And I agree with what you're saying. I want to, I went through a phase like that where I dated multiple women. But what I learned was the comparisons never ended. And it's like
it's not a
someone's
concern.
always going to possess something that the others don't.
And that's great. And that's probably why you need a forever roster, because just for that fact. Because at the end of the day, you'll be really hard pressed to find that one person. Now, you have stuff like the 80-20 rule and all that kind of stuff. And that
Right.
only works. That only works if the 80 is your needs. Because if your needs are falling into that 20, that's a problem. And yes, that's never going to work. That's not going to work. Your needs cannot be in that 20%. Your wants can be in that 20%, but not your needs.
100%.
And a lot of people don't even know the difference between their wants and their needs. So again, all of these things kind of have to be unlearned because we're taught to do them wrong.
Back to our panelists, to our guests. How do you feel about this? I know you were saying something, JMS. You were saying they won't, like the women won't be
Yeah,
honest.
I don't think honesty would come from a female if they're not 100% about that that man or 100% invested. And even then, you don't know. It's always that don't know, but that goes for both sides. But in today, just the way today's standards make it hard for you not to have a roster, in my opinion.
What's today's standard? Can you define today's standard?
I mean, you see it all over social media. You rarely see it in actual public life where it's not going above and beyond. Obviously you should, but I mean, gloating it or trying to get it glorified on social media makes it hard because then standards are set. If it's the rose petals leading into the hotel room or wherever you're about to go, back to your house, the candles lit, everything like that. Yes, obviously you want to do that for a woman, but the way society has it is that if you don't do that, if you don't go above and beyond every time, you don't take that person serious, which is sad.
How old is this? Is also why
I want to ask how old he is.
1 second, Savannah. This is also why you should not set your personal standards
Right.
for what society, you know what I'm saying,
Right.
has out there and what they deem to be a standard, because that's where you're gonna always go wrong. Get to know, and this
The
is
person, right.
where a lot of people mess up, because you assume that that other person wants all of these extravagant things, but you're not even asking. You're not communicating to really know what people really want.
Say that C
Sometimes
word again.
simplicity is everything.
Say that C word again. Communication, right? That's the purpose of the entire
Communication,
show.
yeah. And I say that because, like, I'm one of the simplest people I know, and I say that down to the things I keep in my house. Baby, if I gotta pack up and go in a second, trust and believe it's gonna be a simple process. You get what I'm saying? I like things to be easy. I like things to be nice, smooth, simple, laid back, chill. So no, I'm not looking for, if I walk into every day and everything is, you've spent all of this, ridiculous amount of money and done all of this, I'm probably going to be turned off because I don't need all of that. I don't like all of that. Like, I want to know you for you, and I want you to show me how your mind works. Show me how how creative you can be without spending the check, because again, that's not something that I need.
Never, I need you to get out my head. You've been in my head all day.
Girl.
I agree with that though.
Everything you said, I agree.
Yeah, because men don't take the time to really ask those questions. They
Well, I
just
mean, not all men,
not all men,
because
true, not all men.
I'm one of
But
them. I'm one of them that I like to take my time to get to know you. But again, knowing that unknowingly they have a roster behind you, it's like you're wasting your time because they probably are looking for immediate affection and love being shown instead of giving it time to organically grow. So it is hard nowadays. And again, nowadays, back in the day, it was kind of different. Nowadays, yeah.
That's why I wanted to ask how old you were, because I think it speaks to like kind of the thought process.
Generational gaps.
Yeah,
Generational gaps.
yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. I'm 25.
Okay, that's why. Yes.
right. But
So
but
that
you
means
have a really good perspective for that age.
yes, he has a really good perspective. But when he was talking about the stuff on social media and stuff,
Well, oh, my
like
bad.
people our age, we
Right.
didn't have social media.
Yeah, we didn't
Like it
have
didn't
social
even
media.
No, no, no.
it didn't
That's
even
that's what I was getting at. That's what I was getting at. Like for me, it's hard to find a female that doesn't think that way. Where if you're not going on expensive trips or spending lavish gifts on them, then you must not really love them.
Well,
Compared
you
to
probably
me.
gonna have to
But
date up.
start dating
So
you an
if
older
you
woman, baby,
have
okay?
right,
Yeah.
that's what I was
Right,
saying.
getting older,
Look,
getting older.
yeah. Because at the end of the day, like our generation, we didn't have social media, right?
Right.
So social media don't impress us, and we understand that everything we see on media is somebody living their best
Fake.
life.
Yeah,
Okay,
of course.
so
Of course.
we understand
Well,
that, but y'all's generation, mostly, not all of it, but a lot of y'all's generation have been taught that what you see on social media is real. This
Yeah.
is real. This is what
For
it
sure.
is. If you don't see it on social media, it didn't happen. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
That kind of stuff. And so, yes, I would agree that if that's the mindset that you have, that's not going to work. It's just not going to work.
I'm curious as to where you're meeting these people, these women.
Probably on social media.
Nah, because I'm not even, I don't even really, I'm not a social media head. I was really raised old school. So to me, I could care less for being on social media. I'd rather get to, so,
So where are you meeting all these women who want all this flowers?
I mean, at the job, sometimes you run into them in the store. And then again, it's obviously you trade. Nowadays, it's no longer, back in your days, it was get the number. Now it's just, oh, well, I'll give you my Instagram and Snapchat. And that's kind of like a red flag right there. You know, they don't
Right. I was
want
about
to
to
give
say
you,
that should be a
right. No,
it's 100% a red flag. I don't even, here's the thing. If you are even going to make it onto my roster, the one thing you won't ever get is my social media because I don't want to follow nobody that like dating. I don't need you following me because I don't need you in my ear about every little thing I post and if it make you feel some type of way.
and
Okay?
that's why I said it's just toxic energy nowadays and it goes for both sides. I'm not saying specifically females or specifically males. It's on both sides. That's why I say I stay away from it. But to that point of how you were expressing how things should be, that's how it used to be. Sadly, today it's all about what you can give, and it turns into something very toxic very quickly.
Right. And the fact that you say you were raised old school, you know what I'm saying? In this day and age, that is a blessing for you. But again, it can be a curse because us old school heads, we know how hard it is to find love, like love out here really because of how everything has changed, because of how social media has kind of moved people in different directions. And
Absolutely.
even people who are from our era, who are from, our time of growing up, they didn't let social media take over their whole life. They
Yep.
don't know how to live without it. And so it becomes, you older than me and you worried about what's happening on Facebook more than, you know what I'm saying? When that's not even
Absolutely.
a care in the world for me.
Absolutely. That's been the big. Now everything's dating online, or that nothing's ever personal anymore.
Yeah,
Nothing's
no,
ever
you
personal.
need the relationship dynamic has changed,
Right.
and I think that personally, I ruined myself with my expectations, relationships, because I was a little kid. You know, you have kids that have these girlfriends in elementary school, a girlfriend in middle school, right? But those relationships were so, in my opinion, they were so unique and meaningful because the only thing that you had to offer was yourself. And Deborah spoke
Mm-hmm.
earlier about being attracted to someone being their unique self. So, and people, we grew on one another, right? I mean, I might have been an ugly kid growing up to some, right? But that same ugly kid that treats you nice and you look forward to seeing them, you start liking them over time. And again, like Tavon said, we didn't have social media back then. So, of course, the options of exposure was limited. You dealt with who went to school with you, or being in the South. In the summer, you got cousins that come down from New York, or you go to visit or whatever. But outside of that, you you fostered those relationships. You got to know that person. You knew everything about them, and it's like, hey, that her bus gets in at 3:45. At 3:47, I'm on the phone, my feet up on the wall. I got my bag of chips or whatever, and the relationships are based on who you were, not what you had. And people at time were more valuable than material things. But hey, like ladies, my
I would
advice to
say,
you
like,
is
for me, internet dating is like a no for me all the way around the board. And I don't know if it has something to do with the fact that I just watch a lot of investigation discovery, but I'm not. If I can't, I need to be able to know and see, and I can't, like, too many people do too many crazy things behind a screen for me. You know what I'm saying? I need to be able to be in your space. I need to see how you live. I need to see how you move on a daily basis in order for me to know if you're somebody I even want to have around me. None of that can happen through social media. None of that can happen online. That only really happens from really being genuinely able to spend time with people and let go of all of the outside noise.
mm, well, I like your perspective, and what we're talking about. And welcome everybody. Welcome. We have some late
Hey,
listeners.
Damon.
Hey,
Party.
Damon. Hey, Goldie
I'm here.
here. Party. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Today we're talking. I want to hear from the men. I would love to hear from the men. How do you feel about being in a woman's rotation? How do you feel about being in a woman's rotation? Are there some prerequisites? Are there some non-negotiables, do's and don'ts? Please tell us, how do you feel about being in a woman's rotation? I want to hear from you all. And again, thank you. What's your real name again? Because you have JMS as your screen name.
Joyner.
Joyner. Okay, I remember. So thank you, Joyner, for that. And I think about knowingly being in a rotation. I've been a side dude. I've been a layaway guy, like the backup. You know, call. I'm on layaway. When I was younger, they only call me when something happens. Caught the boyfriend cheating, or you know, in a dry spell. But for whatever reason,
You was the
and I think,
cleaner.
hey, hold on,
Yes, he
whatever.
was, Savannah. Yes, he was, Savannah. You know why that
But it
thought
was
crossed my
cool.
head and I was just on mute. I can't stand you.
I was young. I was young. I worked on a job where I traveled all over the state, right? So I wasn't like physically stable to be in a committed relationship. And I had friends. I was like right fresh out of college, had friends from college, friends from home, people I met all over. So I wasn't really trying to be exclusive. And I didn't have a problem with it then. But I think at this age, my primary concern is honesty and just making sure this person has things aligned. You see what I'm saying? I saw a clip on social media where this guy got upset, went to the girl's house. He was upset about something and shot her. Saw
That's
another
what I'm
clip.
saying.
Yeah, with this guy, something happened with a guy. Another guy had this girl's phone. He was like, give me the phone. Shot and killed a guy in cold blood in front of a community filled with people, right? So my thing is, when you can tell me that you're being honest, but are you really being honest with everyone? And have you checked the temperature of these guys? Right? I'm good. Hey, you hit me up on Saturdays. Hey, I'm your Saturday man. We cool on breaks. Hey, I'm the guy when you get a break. I only see you twice a year when you go to a conference. I'm good with that. But can you assure me that when I do come over on Saturday, I don't have to deal with some fool following you or knocking at the door? You know what I'm saying? because things like that happen. And you say,
That's why the
hey,
roster gotta go.
But that's why
That's
everybody
why
in
the
the
roster has
rotation
to
also
go.
don't know where you stay. Everybody, the level of where you at in that rotation will depend on if you even get the address to come to the house now. And you really gotta have your own place. Cause for me, I have a son, so you ain't coming here. Right?
Exactly.
So if you ain't on your grind, if you ain't got your stuff together enough to have your own place to be able to have me over, then I don't know what to tell you.
well,
But
let
I
me
would
ask you
have
Go
a
over
ladies a
there.
roster
question.
at this
I don't want
point
to go over
because
there either, Deborah.
I
I
got a
really
question for the
don't.
ladies. I have a question. I have a question for you all. These guys are, I wouldn't even say competing, right? But everybody's auditioning, and you want to take some time to see, and I believe in taking time to see that person. And you want to see them in different seasons as well. I need to see how you're going to be. If we're going to be committed, I need to see how are you going to act, or how are we going to solve problems? What happens if you lose a job? What happens if I lose my job? What happens if, how do you react my family situation, right? But listen, that guy is whining and dining. I want you ladies to think about this. The guy is getting to that point. You decide, you know what? I'm not totally stupid, but we've got to the point where we can have sex, right? We've got to the point where we can have sex. So what happens if he is not satisfying or he's not pleasing you sexually?
Then
Now what?
war. Like, what is that?
Right. It only
Like, what
takes
is
one time to try.
yeah,
Like
one time.
one time is gonna let me know what I need to know.
And you
And
don't
here's
even
the
get a
thing.
whole one time because I'm only gonna give
Right.
you about 5 good strokes, and it's like, listen, I'm gonna be out of there if it ain't doing what it's supposed to do. I'm not about to suffer through it now. I ain't doing that.
And that's the bad part because I'm with Savannah 100%. You is
I'm gonna
not
tell
finna,
you to
I'm
go,
not finna
yeah,
lay
because I
here
ain't about to. Nope, sure not.
just tease you, just to make you feel better, baby. If it's not good, if I can't get into it, if I can't get into a groove with you, if we can't, like, if the chemistry ain't cheming, we ain't rock, we're not finishing it. This is going to stop and this
You
is
gonna get
going
that
to
good old
end.
shoulder tap. Come on, let's
Yep.
go.
Okay.
Come on.
So
Yeah.
now,
Time to get up. Time to get up.
you on a date. This is a regular date with somebody. Y'all having lunch, but you done gave this dude some cookies, right? And he spots you out at a restaurant. Who's to say he won't overreact or act a fool?
Okay, I think
You just slept with me last night, and now you out here with this N word.
those things come from a lack of communication. I
Right.
do not buy that. I don't think nobody who knows what they know and everybody is being open, honest, and transparent. That's not what's happening. This kind of stuff is happening because people are
A
lying,
lot. That's
right?
what Joyner's
If
Right.
talking
you,
about.
yeah, right. And
Right.
so this is why you got people choosing violence, literally. You know what I'm saying? Because they feel themselves hurt, they mad, whatever, whatever, because they've been lied to. And I think it's very, very important to know what your end goal is, right? Because not everybody's end goal is marriage. Not everybody's end goal is fully monogamous, committed relationship. So these are all questions that you have to ask from the jump. If you
Right.
go on a woman's roster, you need to know what her end game is. Because if she is not trying to make none of y'all her main thing forever and ever and ever, you need to know that. Like she should communicate that because some
Right.
women's end goal is not to be exclusive.
Yeah, but on the flip side, that goes both ways too. As the female who's got the roster, you need to know what their end game is. Me, I'm not going to be dealing with someone who I feel, wants to take it to another level, and I know I don't want to take it there with them. I'm just not even going to deal with them because
Mm-hmm.
you're asking
Absolutely.
for something that I know I can't give you, and to me, to continue to keep you on my roster, knowing that you're wanting more than what I'm willing to give you, I think that's unfair of me towards you. So
Absolutely. And I agree with that.
100%. Again, that comes with communication though. And it comes with communication and a level of respect that you just hold for another person. And the more that you respect yourself, the more respect you can give and show to another person. Because the things that you don't want people to do to you, you ain't finna be out here doing to them. I would
Not
hope anyway.
necessarily. Nah, I don't know if that goes to both
That's
ways.
why I said I would
Yeah.
hope anyway. Hey,
No,
this is
because
a great
yeah,
time.
people do a lot of things that they do not want reciprocated.
Well, and they do, and they do, but that's why I said, but the people out here doing those things to people that they don't want reciprocated, I guarantee you, 98% out of the time, them people don't respect themselves, which is why they don't respect the people that they dealing with. Let's
So,
be clear.
ladies, is there a limit to the number in this roster?
Nope.
No,
No.
no, heck no.
Liz, is there a limit?
For me, yeah, I ain't got time. I just don't have the energy. That's too many personalities. That's too many, more than one or two. Yeah. So I guess I have a short roster.
Well,
I
see, and
don't
for
got time.
me, it's like, oh, I'm sorry. For me, it's more like you're not taking up all my time, so time ain't never an issue because the time is controlled by me, not you.
Right.
This is not your show. So what you want, honestly, does not matter in this situation. Like this is my team. I'm the coach. You play, and you get playing time when I give it to you. This is so yeah. I ain't never stretched thin.
Well, I'm not built like that. If I'm dealing with you or you in my life or in any capacity, then you're at a point or you're on a level with me that I am going to make it a point to dedicate some amount of time to you. So for me, and that's why I don't have a roster because I don't have the time to deal with, multiple people because of the kind of person that I am. Everybody's different and, how you divide your time is your business. I don't waste time with someone who I don't have any desire to have on take into my life on a deeper level. So that's just me. But that's where I am in my life right now. Maybe when I was younger, it's all about fun. So yeah, let's go eat dinner. Yeah, let's go to a movie. Yeah, I don't have the energy for that now. That's just me.
And that,
Yeah,
but
and
that's
see,
the
I'm the
difference,
opposite. I done
lady.
had
Yeah.
too long term. I done had so much long term foolishness that I don't want no more long term foolishness. I'd rather short fun than long term foolishness.
And for me, I'm up for either way. You know what I'm saying? Like I wouldn't mind getting into a relationship and taking something deeper. But at this point, I mean, I also still want to have fun in my life. I'm not, you know what I'm saying? I'm not getting any younger. So why should I stop having fun just because just because I'm dating or, you know what I'm saying? Just because I'm getting to know people. I'm going to still do what I want to do for myself to make me happy because I got to do that regardless, whether someone's here or not.
Yeah, but that doesn't necessarily mean you need 10 people to do that either, though.
I don't
So
need 10. I mean, I'm saying I don't need 10, but in the moment, if no one is catching my interest to where I'm really giving you any real time, then hey, I'll take you on Monday, you on Wednesday, you know, maybe you Saturday morning and I might meet you at the club Saturday night. I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
So let's get back to
it
this
depends.
bad
If I
experience.
got maybe 2 nights a week, I can go. But that's what I'm saying. I don't even have the energy for all that. But I get what you're saying, though, and I totally agree. I get what you're saying.
I want to get back to the bad experience. So once there's been a bad experience, where is he? Is he cut from the team? Is he just placed on the bench? Or it depends on what caused the experience to be bad?
I think it depends on what caused the experience to be bad. Is it something that could be fixed? Is it?
I mean, if it's too small and that's something you can't fix.
And it depends on how much I care about them already. If it's not somebody I care deeply for, I'll probably be more inclined to be like, bye. But if it's somebody I've developed feelings for and then have this encounter and it's not good, then I'm probably more likely to be like, okay, why was it bad? Will I give it
Is there
another
a
chance?
workaround? Right.
It depends.
Oh, so yeah, that's my deal breaker. I don't care how much I like you. That is my deal breaker, number one, numero uno. If it ain't snapping, I ain't think I don't care. It ain't happening.
So a guy could have a bad experience where he had a premature situation. That's
It
something
can't
that
happen
could
the very
change.
first time. I'm not getting past that. So now later on, yes, I can. You know what I'm saying? But not day one. No.
Mm-mm-mm. That's y'all hard out there on these men. I feel sorry for the guys out there dating.
I would say, I say I mean, it's not going to be too many scenarios where you don't get cut, right? But let's say maybe it was just awkward all around the board. You know what I'm saying? Like if I know I was feeling some awkwardness as well, then I may that like, but that might be one of the only ways that I give you the benefit of the doubt. If I can clearly see like, okay, maybe I contributed to this situation not being its most, you know what I'm saying,
That's
juiciest
so
in the moment.
unfair. That's unfair. So the
It's
only
not
second chance is
unfair.
if you need a second chance also.
The only second chance is if I can see it's more or less where I can see where I have fault in the situation. So if
Oh
I can't
wow.
just blame it all on you, right? If I can
Right.
say, okay, he had fault, but I have fault too, then I'm gonna get us another chance because it's only fair for the both of us that I do so.
Okay.
You know, but you know, if it's all on you, like I said, and I meant that, like if we do this and you're not big enough, or you know what I'm saying, or you're too big, we ain't. There's no coming back here. There's what are we gonna do here?
Well, you got a point there. I'm gonna
You
have
get
to
what
give
I'm
you that one.
saying? So it's like there's some people you just got to cut. Yeah, I had this friend, and me and this, when I tell you, I still love this man to this day. I call him Papa Bear. He called me Mama Bear. And we used to, you know what I'm saying, sit like Saturday nights, we used to get in the kitchen and just come up with dishes and cook and stuff. And he was literally like my friend. And one night, super drunk, we were like, yeah, let's try this out. Let's just see. Yeah, when I tell y'all like 14 inches, I was like, yeah, we are not going to see. We're not going to do this. This is not going to happen. And like it literally got stopped in its tracks and we never tried for it again. We went right back to being Mama Bear, Papa Bear, cool friends. Like, certain, you can't, certain things you just got to cut it off.
I mean, men don't have. I don't think men have situations like that where it's like,
Did you say 14?
14, girl. 14, like,
I'm sorry.
and you want to know how I know?
Second. Because I would have got the
Listen,
ruler out. I'm telling
I
you right now.
did. I know. It wasn't the ruler. It was the, what do you call the thing
Tape
that comes
measure.
out with the
Yes,
little
ma'am.
silver piece? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
The tape measure. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't play no games because I wanted to understand, like,
How, Sway?
why it would, one, how, because I'm looking at it. And when people say horse, that's what I was like, that's the only thing I could think in my mind in that moment, which really made me feel some type of way. And I was just like, yeah, no, that looks, yeah, no. Mm-mm.
That looks scary.
Yeah, no. Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
that's funny.
That's funny. That is funny. Oh my
Nope.
goodness.
He should have been shy and just be like, let's get under the covers.
And the crazy thing is, he started dating this girl that I knew right after he started dating her. We was cool, no, you know what I'm saying, no issues. I let her know too. Like we went there, we tried to go there one time, but it actually never happened. You know what I'm saying? She was okay because she seen, you know what I'm saying? I was around a lot, so I just wanted to make sure she knew and make sure it was nothing, whatever. But she started dating him right after, and I had to ask her one day, like, being that I know, like, how do you do that? And she was like, girl, it's great. And I'm like, I don't understand. Like, it don't comprehend
You
for
see
me.
it?
That's funny. Now, see, what does that do to the roster? So
It-
does he put a stop to everybody else?
He didn't put a stop there. He actually got himself cut from the team.
No, I mean for the young lady that he's dating now.
Oh, yeah, I don't, look,
Well,
I
clearly
don't
it's
know.
working for her. Clearly she done found a way around it.
Clearly she found a way around it. And she did. And they was together. I mean, I don't think they still together now, but when I tell you they was a good 6 years strong, last I knew they were
I'm
together.
telling you, like some people, those are like once in a lifetime. You don't run up on them
Yeah,
many
you
times.
don't.
I
He's
can
the
say
only one in life ever.
I've only had one of them. So yeah, I can understand. They're once in a lifetime.
And if you're not with that person, it's the the whole dating them all. When does it end? What happens for
It
you to
ends
say
if you
he's the
want
one?
it to end. But again, that's
No,
if
not end like it's end. I want to put a stop to it. Like, how does a guy win?
but that's what I'm saying. The girl has to want a winner. You see what I'm saying? Some people don't want a winner. But if the girl wants a winner, how it stops is she just starts weeding them out, right? It goes from 10 to 7 to 5 to 3, 2, and it's last man standing. It's like anything else. You see what I'm saying? That's how it ends.
So they just get tired of competing, and tell me this: when they're on this roster,
Making the cut. She's
so
taking the cut.
so when they're on this roster, it's cool for them to have a roster as well.
Absolutely, they better. Cause I don't be waiting on me.
Okay. So then you have to hope that when they're making it to this finals, right, and he becomes number one, do you expect him to cut his roster?
No, because y'all have to hopefully get
That has
there
to
at the
be
same
mutually
time.
communicated.
Right,
Yeah.
correct. Hopefully y'all getting there at the same time. Because again, just like you're communicating your roster, he should be
Mhm.
communicating his roster. And he should be telling you, hey, I'm down to 3. Or I'm down, you see what I'm saying? And you should be saying, hey, I'm down to 3. You see what I'm saying? So that way you kind of know
Or
where
I'm up
you're,
to 16 right now.
whatever.
Right. And even if you feel like, hey man, I really don't want to deal with nobody else I'm dealing with. I really only want to deal with you. Say, like, speak your mind, speak your piece. And the worst that could happen is the other person ain't there yet. And then you talk about how to move forward. You know what I'm saying?
and
But
and he might be willing to wait. You know what I mean? If he says,
exactly.
"Hey, I want you," and you're not there, he might be willing to wait. If she says, "Hey, I'm ready," and he's not there, she might be willing to wait. You see what I'm saying? But it's got to be communicated. Everybody's got to know where everybody is, and you just kind of go from there.
That's something interesting. I never thought about that,
Yeah.
Like, what happens? Are these rosters aligned? Hey, Albert, welcome. We have a few callers calling in. Morris, welcome. Albert Sullivan, welcome. Sada, welcome. We would like to hear what you all have to say about this. We want to know, how do you all feel about being on a woman's roster? Men, please share, chime in.
And a question that I have for the men is like, what is a man's expectation? Like, is it their expectation that there should not be a roster? Or like if he meets a girl, gets her phone number and starts talking to her, he should be the only one that she's talking to?
I never expect that. Like that would be communicated, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think that depends on, well, it depends on a couple of things, but I mean, it just depends on how much you consider that female potential. Like, you could be just kicking it buddy. You can be just a girlfriend. Then you have some that might find a wife. But I mean, it's just where the man sees you in, I guess, their eyes and mindset.
And I think you have to listen because I think a lot of times people communicate, but the other person don't believe them and they think that, oh, that they don't really mean that. You know what I'm saying? Like if they're saying it to you, you should believe that. If they're saying, I don't want to be exclusive, you have a lot of women that think he been saying that, and then 6 years later you mad because you still not his wife. You know what I'm saying? But he told you in the beginning. So what made you think that you could think that?
What does it come back to? What's the premise of the show? Communication.
It's
Albert,
communication.
Albert, you gotta call in. You gotta hit the little call button, and then Fashawn can let you in.
Yeah, I invited you as a speaker, Albert. Did you get the invite?
I'm curious. And this is for Deborah and Tavana. Have you all ever had a roster that you dwindled down to one person?
Fucking niggas. Yeah, girl, I done been married twice. Now, niggas should be slaves, not people. They
And
need
so what?
to stand firm. Why? Oh, hold on, Albert. Albert, hold on for 1 second. Hold on for 1 second.
And so what was it about your husband that like stood out that, made you say, okay, this is the one versus everybody else you had on the roster?
So I made a good business decision. I just need to go back to fucking Africa. I made a good business decision, Lizzie. So it worked. I mean, I love There Was Love, but it was more of a business decision because that was my second marriage. The first one, it was don't even really count because it was just one of those. We
Don't do
already had two.
that. Don't do that.
I'm not saying nothing about him. He be taking up for his homeboy. Let me tell you something. But
That's my boy now.
no, but we were young. Like we were still in our 20s, since we
Right,
already
right.
had two kids and my mama and them was like, I need to get married. You know what I'm saying? So it was that. Like we weren't even married a whole year. You know what I'm saying? So that was that. But the second time I was very much more cognizant what I needed in a partner. And so that was that. Now, I mean, I ain't gonna say it was exclusive the entire time because it wasn't. The roster picked back up, but it was, for a few years it worked.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I never went from a roster to a relationship. It was just really from a roster to no one. Cause I just have these moments where I just don't want to deal with nobody. So everybody gets dropped. And then when I feel like, getting back out there again, then I get back out there again.
Okay. And the reason why I asked is because I thought that might be helpful to our young man here, that maybe y'all could give him some tips on what it was as a woman that helped you dwindle your roster down to, that one, since that's
Yeah,
what he is.
I told that to my child earlier. Like when I first started the track.
I wanted another baby. I wanted, you know what I'm saying? Like there were things that I wanted. Like my first two children, I wasn't married. So I wanted to have a baby within wedlock. You know what I'm saying? Like it was a lot of different things that I wanted. And so this person checked the boxes and was like, okay. But, eventually, that didn't work. But if I were to give him some advice in terms of a roster, I would just tell him he needs to date as well. Like, I just don't think anybody should put all their eggs in a basket too soon. You know what I'm saying? I think it's important to date. It's important to know what you want. And then once you know what you want, then you can figure out where these people fit into what you want.
Yeah, I get that. I mean, personally, more the type that if I know I'm a part of a roster, usually I don't even try to compete or contend. I'm just myself. And again, my main thing is just transparency. Like I don't want to waste time. Like I'm off the jump letting you know how it is. I don't play games. I really don't have time to play games. So I mean, if I find out I'm underneath the roster, I might try, but I wouldn't be going too hard in the first place because I know I'm not the only one. But now if I know I'm the only one, then yeah, sure, maybe I'll do a little bit above and beyond, but I usually don't unless I know for a fact it's just us.
Unfortunately, we live in a society where people aren't honest, right? So even when you think you're the only one, you don't be the only one. You know what I'm saying? And that's just really sad. So it's sad that, you know, 95% of people just, they live to lie. Like they can't help it. Like they just, like that's, if they talking, they lying. And that's just 95% of people. And that's unfortunate.
Yeah, it gets you nowhere. That's why I said I might be young, but believe me, I'm going through some of those things, and it's just at a point where I'm just tired of it. It's kind of like draining. It really is.
You need you a like 45-year-old because like 40, between 40 and 45, let me tell you, that's a great age for a woman because we can date the daddy or the son. You know what I'm saying? Like,
But see, look, there you go. Already thinking. There you go. Already thinking about
100%.
There you go. Thinking about a roster.
no. I'm not talking about I'm talking about the age range, right? Because a lot of 25-year-olds will think, man, she's 40 something. She wouldn't want to date me. Try her. She might. She might.
See, well,
She might.
Damon, well, I want to hear from you, Damon.
What's
We're
up?
talking
Don't
about,
be on nobody roster. So why?
in theory, theoretical. We're talking about how do men feel about being in a woman's rotation, getting on that, having that roster. She's trying to date them all until I don't know what the end is. Like Tavana said, it narrows itself down. Like, yo, I've eliminated a couple of them. I'm down to 3. Hey, I'm down to 2. Hey, look, it's down to you and such now. How do you feel about that, Damon?
Man, when I've been out there, bruh, it wasn't no we up front with this and that and everybody was lying, right?
Right.
far as, like you said, being a side dude or whatever like that. I mean, I've done that, right? I mean, we all know that the army makes everyone get married, right? So I've been the side dude, but she was my side chick as well, you know? So, hey, we were both we had some understandings and we played our role. Now, when you talk about risk, you brought up some good points, you know, but when we're young and we ain't really thinking about that, right? Um,
Right.
Plus, wasn't a whole lot of people just, you know, rolling up and killing people back then either, you know. You might get in a fist fight, or you know, you get an old cat. He might pull a blade on you. He might even shoot you. But you know, being in a rotation has never been something that I've been a part of. When you
Knowingly
talk
been a
about
part of.
right, when you talk about multiple men, right? But I have played, you know, this the side dude, and hey,
But
we
you
got
know,
our understanding.
I think that the thing is because it's a woman, right? Like people will automatically assume if you have the roster, you're sleeping with everyone on the roster.
Well,
Exactly.
because that's what we are. That's how we are.
Exactly. But that's not how women like technically, and I can say there are a few that probably will go off the deep end, right? But most women, even though they have a roster, they're not sleeping with the whole roster. They're maybe, you know what I'm saying, sleeping with one, maybe two,
But ain't no man gonna
right?
Maybe
believe that
two.
either.
Definitely one, but maybe two.
But
Ain't nobody, ain't no
you
man
can't
gonna
make
believe
somebody
that,
take you at your word though. And that's the
Right.
insecurity to not believe it. Because why
right?
wouldn't you believe me? Like that's
Because
crazy.
because we know we ain't doing that.
Well, you don't project your stuff on me.
I feel you.
Right.
I'm just being honest now. I'm letting you know how we feel. Coach Sean, if you know you had a part of a roster, would you believe her when she told you she was only sleeping with 2 out of 6?
What did I tell y'all from the start?
He said no.
From the giddy up, don't even come to me saying, "Oh, I'm only sleeping with one person." That's lies. It's lies. You know what I'm saying? I've been in some unbelievable situations, none that I'm proud of. As I've grown older, when I was younger, I thought I was doing something, but the older and wiser I got, I was like, you know what? That could have been me. You
But you
know,
needed that experience. We
I,
all
I
needed our
I needed
experience,
that experience, man. I've been on a roster where someone asked me to just happen to be at the mall at the same time, right? And this person was surprising their husband with some nice gifts for his birthday, an outfit for his birthday. We about the same size and everything. And they asked me to try some things on. I'm trying it on. And like the third outfit, I'm like, look, man, I ain't no mannequin now. And I was clowning. I was like, well, I'm tired of walking back and forth. Would you walk in the locker room, I mean, in the dressing room to see what this outfit looks like? And when she walked in, I was butt naked. And we ended up having relations in the store, you know, while I'm young, or, you know, early 20s or whatever.
But why
But
was you butt naked?
just trying my hand, seeing how she was going to respond to it. Because I literally went there, I'm trying on these outfits. I tried on one, tried on a second, and I'm like, she literally got me in here trying on outfits for her to buy for her husband, you know? And I was like, look, I'm tired of walking back and forth. You can come in here and see what it looks like. But I was naked. And, you know, we had been fooling around anyway. But so now we're doing this in the dressing room, right? And we got done. You know, how y'all keep your little wet wipes in the purse, clean each other up or whatever. And a couple of minutes later, I walked past them in the mall, you know, the head nod, hey, how y'all doing? And the older I got, and I realized that, you know what? That same thing can be happening to me. So I never, ever, ever believed this, oh, I'm not sleeping with anyone else. We were just friends, or we were just talking, or we just went out to eat. I never believed that. But it doesn't make a difference. So if I'm going to deal with you, I'm going to deal with you regardless. Now, you know, some men, and we talk about things like this in the barbershop. Some guys are like, nah, if I know she's dealing with someone else, I ain't doing X, Y, Z. You know, them young boys be sticking their tongue in y'all butt and all that stuff, you know? So they might be a little skeptical about doing
It ain't
certain
good,
things.
boy. Stop playing.
Like them old ones,
It
them old ones.
hey,
Mhm.
hey.
Yeah, dog, I done gave y'all some flashbacks, huh? Well, some men may be a little hesitant or skeptical to participate in certain things sexually if they know that you're sleeping with someone else. So when you say one, maybe two, when they know it's two, but what's crazy is side dudes automatically know I got to give a waiver to the husband. Husband is cool,
Correct. I think it's definitely a weird
but nobody
mind
else.
trick.
Yeah,
It's a weird mind trick because first of all, you know this person. You're not the first person that they slept with, so you know that
right.
there has been people before you. You know that there're gonna be people, might be people during you. There's gonna be people after you. But for some reason, in your brain, it's like, oh my god, I'm gonna freak out if I'm sleeping with somebody else. Why? You ain't the first one.
Right.
You just enjoy your turn. Like stop acting like that.
What would you like? Okay. Pizza. Been cancelled.
But people who say, people with them control issues, that's where that come from. Like thinking that you have to control everything in order to hold on to it. And if you lose control of it, you know what I'm saying? That's where their mind can't grasp a lot of situations. And that's where you get a lot of those crazy, things that Koshan was talking about, you know what I'm saying? Where someone's now acting, you know what I'm saying, or getting violent or, you know what I'm saying, acting out of character because I ain't even gonna say out of character, but because it's probably in character.
They were lied
But
to.
yeah, sure indeed.
That's why having
You
a
know what I'm
roster
saying?
doesn't really work out, honestly.
But it's not even that they were lied to because it doesn't always have to necessarily be that you were lied to. It could be that I told you I don't want to be with you no more. And now I move on and I get to sleeping with somebody else. But in your mind, I'm still yours, right? So you feel like even though we broken up, I'm still yours. You don't want to see me with nobody else. So then what do? You know what I'm saying? You come and you try to blow up what I got going on. But we're not even together. Do you know how many situations work out like that? But that control factor still stands within a person. You know what I'm saying? It's a crazy situation, but it happens a lot more than you think. And sometimes it is because you got lied to, but most times, a lot of times it's just because someone is not able to let go and move on. And that's how you get that gasoline with the match. You know what I'm saying?
And I'm just giving you all some things to consider. Like I said, I support the whole roster. I support dating people and, seeing who has what to offer because you don't want to get in a situation where, like Devonna said, you're kind of forced to cheat because you have six needs, absolute needs, and this person can only satisfy three or four. What do you do? Just accept that I'll never have those needs met?
I mean, it can happen over time.
It can. It has to be communicated.
I mean, because I don't think anybody's ever been in a relationship ever in life and the person has had everything that they want.
But
If
that's the
that is
difference.
true, that
There's a want and there's a need, right? Your needs are things that you shouldn't really compromise on. Your wants are the things that are negotiables in a situation when you're, finding someone. Your needs are something that you want to have met. You know what I'm saying? And you can hope that you find one person that meets it, but you don't always find one person that, meets all your needs. And so, you branch out. And, not to say there are a lot of people out there who find, especially when the person who has the needs don't have this long laundry list of needs that they need. You know what I'm saying?
It's a bunch of people that got work wives and work husbands that's getting a need fulfilled that ain't physical.
Right. And that just all depends on if that one person that you chose to be with is meeting all those needs. Because if they are, then you ain't got no work wife or no work husband. You know what I'm saying? But if you didn't choose that, then you probably out there with a work wife or a work husband.
Yeah.
I know for me, like my defining moment where I realized that, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm not going to say all my life I've been honest. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't always honest. And, when I told y'all about the situation with, you know what I'm saying? when I got pregnant, not knowing exactly who the dad was, it was between two people. I wasn't being honest in that moment with those two people, though it was the only two people on the roster. I wasn't being honest, and the devastation, it wasn't like there was no physical altercations. Both people were level-headed, level-minded. You know what I'm saying? Everything was cordial all the way through, but the devastation to the relationships individually is where I realized that honesty is always the best policy. You get what I'm saying? That's where I had my epiphany moment. Like, you can't be out here really lying to people and not telling people what's really, you know what I'm saying, going on and what's happening. Luckily that was 13 years ago. You know what I'm saying? So, but now I definitely think about that. And since then I've thought about it differently. Sorry, I had someone out there beeping the horn. Is anyone still here? We still here?
Yes, we're here.
But yeah, you know, sometimes you're put in a situation where that's where you realize, you know what I'm saying, where that honesty needs to come into play and where you can't be out here playing with people.
But it goes back to being toxic. That's the same thing. Like, that's why I said all today, even communication today seems like a difficulty. I don't know. I don't know. Honestly, like I said, I guess it's just like that generational gap too that plays a part in it as well.
It does. It definitely does. But communication is still the best. Like, you have to know, you have to be able to find people that you can communicate with, because if you don't, if you just accept whatever people give you, then, you know what I'm saying, that's where your fault comes in. But if you know communication is big on the list for you, you know what I'm saying, then if you coming in contact with people that you really can't communicate, you either gotta, one, find different people, or two, kind of take a look at yourself to see how you're coming across, why you can't communicate properly with all of these different people, why you're not finding people that you're able to communicate with. Sometimes it's not the other people. Sometimes it's you.
And that's true too. So like, what's the top three things that a man would have to have to no longer be, no, not even that, but to stand out? Is it time, resources, or like, what does it, what does it entail? Because I know it changes for every female. Every female has their preference. But like, what are the main top three?
I think it goes towards your love languages. They have to be able to speak your love language. Like, every person's love language is different.
Right.
So like mine, my top two are physical touch and quality time. So those are the two things that I like. So buying me gifts is not going to impress me at all. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm a taker, but that's not what's going to, you know what I'm saying? That's not going to make me be like, okay, you know, like, so I think somebody for me is somebody who speaks my love language fluently.
Okay.
And I mean, go ahead, Lizzie.
I was going to say, I think, and of course you can't generalize all women, but I think generally most women, in essence, at the end of the day, want protection and provision. Those are two things. And I think, and communication, I think those are the three big things that most women want. I think if you can provide that, most women you can probably win over with, go in deeper with the love languages and whatnot. But I think at the end of the day, those are the three main things.
Okay.
Yeah, this, if, consistency, again, communication always, and as, those are going to be a solid two. Respect is also high on the list there, but, communication and consistency, because without those two, there's no foundation that can be set.
Okay.
So, guys, I want a general census. So, how do men feel about being in this rotation? What are the requirements, prerequisites, do's, don'ts, non-negotiables? How can that work for you all?
Honesty, it's honesty that just comes into it. I think that's the main thing. As long as there, again, as we all stated, communication, it has to be communication. It's just being able to trust what is said that you can live with and keep in mind while going through that whole process of being seen through the roster and everything else going on. But it is hard, because anybody could say they're dating a certain amount and doing only certain things with them, but you would never really truly know.
And that's just part of, you have to, I mean, that's with anything. You have
Yeah,
to
take
be
a
able
risk.
to trust, you know what I mean? And take a risk. Yeah.
And keep your eyes open. Be perceptive. Like
Yeah.
pay attention to what you seeing. Pay attention to how they moving. Like, you know what I'm saying? I watch everything. I don't let, like, nothing really is gonna get by me because I'm always like paying attention to my surroundings. I'm paying attention to how you like move with me, how you react to me, how you know, if we having a certain kind of conversation, are you open about it? Are you closed off about it? Like, I'm
But you will
looking at
never know.
everything.
A guy will never know that's a woman asleep with someone else.
No, you never know. Cause you, number one, you're going to have to catch her and like
Right.
catch
Right.
her.
Like literally in the act, so it doesn't even matter. So
Number two, you're not going to feel the difference. Cause I don't know if
right,
this is knowing, let me give y'all some free game. They got all kind of stuff
they
to
got
fix
Yanni
that.
steamings and
Yep.
everything, so
Right.
it'll snap
They
back.
got, yeah, it snaps back real quick. You do Kegels and all types of, you'll never know. So,
Crazy.
yeah, I mean, and the thing is at the end of the day, you know,
I gotta remember he's young. So
yeah, yeah,
so
yeah, yeah, baby,
y'all
don't
about to ruin it for him. But yeah, they got a lot of things out there, bro.
it's a
So
lot of things. I mean, they got
she
stuff
can
you
be
can
with
just,
3-4 men in a day, and then they got some
and
stuff out
you'll
there that'll
never
snap
know.
back. You
Yep,
never
it'll
know.
put it right back. You'll never know.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So it you, you have to, like you said, it's going to be a risk. It's always a risk. It's always trust. And like Deborah said, you just have to look out and be open and don't ignore the red flags because 9 times out of 10 the red flags will show at some point. Now, are women just for whatever reason naturally better at deception? Yes. I mean, it just, unfortunately, we are. You know what I'm saying? Because literally, we can wake up in the morning, we could knock off whomever and whatever in the course of the day. We're not going to change anything. We're still going to get home on foot, clean the kid. You'll never know, right? Where men start doing weird stuff like going to the gym and, you know, buying new stuff and, oh, I had to work late. Nah, we ain't gonna never tell you had to work late because we're going to get it in between everything else is going on in the day. So it's just, women are just, it's a different type of mindset. You know what I'm saying? Like people shouldn't be quote unquote cheating anyway because you should be being honest. But people, unfortunately, like we have said, aren't honest. So when that happens, it's kind of hard for men. Like for a woman to slip up, she just got to be real reckless. But I think, you know, I have had people and I'm very upfront at the beginning. So it's not like the roster is made known after 3 months and then I'm like, oh, by the way, you know what I'm saying? It's like, hey, can I get your phone number? Sure. Or sometimes they don't even make it out the DM. Like, hey, how you doing? Hey, I don't know what you want, but let me just advise you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is where we at. So do you want to continue?
So what's more comfortable though? What's more comfortable for a female when it comes to ex- exchanging information? Is it like through giving out numbers or is it always just social media?
No,
Like,
I don't like social media actually. If you jump in my DM, I'm probably not going to, I'm probably going to respond, but you're probably going to get a real nasty, nasty response. Like, you know what I'm saying? Especially unless you're in my DM to ask me for my number, right? Because you didn't, you know what I'm saying? That's different. But if you think we about to have a whole 2 month conversation on this social media, that ain't gonna happen.
right.
And I don't like people that don't have iPhones. So that's the
Don't
deal
hate
breaker.
on me, Savannah. Don't hate on
I'm
me.
so sorry. Like, because if I want to FaceTime you, I can't. Like, that's crazy. I don't want to, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes I want to look at your
There's
face.
Google. There's Google.
I don't know what that is. Like, I just hit one little button. I hit one little button on my phone and it comes right up. I'm not going to a whole separate app to talk to you. That's crazy. No. So, iPhones are,
All you
you know,
fucking niggas need to go back to fucking Africa, you pieces of shit. You don't belong in America.
So, John, yes. Okay.
oh, wow. How do we, like, make sure
The last time he got in there, I realized he was trying to do a little bit too much, but I didn't say nothing because he wound up going on mute and then he left the chat. I mean, he left the room, but
well, Coach, Sean,
you know,
there's a block list or something to make sure that he can't get in. Like,
right.
on the back end,
Cause that's crazy.
that is crazy. But
Albert, get
yeah,
help though.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's keep it moving from him.
Right.
He'll be blocked, but
Yeah.
let's keep it moving.
God bless you
All
though,
right.
man. God bless you. Get better.
So yeah, so I think it, you have to just know what you want. And I don't like social media. And like Deborah said, I'm not gonna block you. I'm not gonna do none of that because, and if you ask any questions about my social media, that's another just red flag. Like, nah, we ain't doing that. Like, because first of all, social media is for, I can't say what I want, but for giggles and crap. You know what I'm saying? It's not real life. Like the only thing that's real life on my social media is the business stuff that I post. Because anything else, you won't know if I'm talking about me, her, him, if I'm
Yeah.
just being funny. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's just for the fun of it. Like I got a bunch of DMs today because I posted something that said buying blue check marks doesn't make you famous, and people was mad. They was real mad.
Yeah, that's true though.
Like,
Nah, that's
but
true though.
but you paying $14 a month to have that little check mark by your name, to me, that's weird. Like, because
It's all about
you paying
perception. It's
for
all
it.
about
Right. That's
status. That's the
weird.
thing. Like,
That's not a status though. Like you paid for it. And the
we're not
crazy
gonna.
part is that the reason that they allowed that is for what you just said, because they realized it was a quote unquote status thing. So they were like, hey, if more, we can monetize this people's need and want to have this status, and we can charge them $14 a month
Right.
to have this little blue check instead of actually giving it out to people who actually deserve it.
Right. Right. And for me, I prefer in person all day anyways. Like you can't, if too many days go by and you haven't made, you know what I'm saying, a move to take, like, let's go out, let's get together, let's, you know what I'm saying, go do something. If you ain't done that in the first couple of days, you're probably going to lose my interest because I'm not doing, like I said, I'm not doing the on the phone all the time. We can do that in between, but I like to be in a person's presence when I am trying to get to know them. You know what I'm saying?
So then
So,
for you, it would be like less than a week with the, I'm not gonna call it phone games, but the conversating over the phone, right? You saying less than a week?
like I'm gonna give you maybe a week, but within that week, like we got to have like if I meet you on Sunday, by Saturday we got to have some plans in place. You get what I'm saying? To be doing something or to be, you know what I'm saying? Like,
But how do
because
you
if
know if
not,
the
then what we
interest level is
doing?
not there yet? Like maybe that person's going for comfortability, like making sure that the female knows that, hey, I'm not a creep. Because nowadays you jump into it and find out this person was completely different than what you thought.
But how is taking me on a date like coming off as a creep? That there's no like to me that's gonna show that you understand how to like step up, take the lead. You know what I'm saying? Make something happen. Like you're showing me that you're willing to put in the effort to show that you're interested, right? So there's nothing creepy about that if that happens within a week. I don't know, like we ain't finna be doing this for a month before I get to be in your presence. Cause out of sight, out of mind for me.
But say like they do that. They take you on a date, but then they want more after that date.
But what more could you want? If we only like, baby, if we go on one date, we gonna take this in the manner in which this needs to go, and we gonna continue to date. Again, you ain't always got to do these elaborate dates where you spend all this money and all. But we gonna take the time to get to know each other, right? By being in each other's presence, by being able to see and feel each other's energy. Like we're gonna do those things so that I know if you're even someone I want to have around me. Because if you're not doing that, and again, because you come from a different kind of generation, like when we came up, that's how we got to know you by being around you, by spending time with you. So for
That
me,
was the only way because
that was the
you did,
only
yeah,
way.
that was the only way. There was no
So
cell phones. There was no, none of that.
right. And that part doesn't change for me. You know what I'm saying? Just because I got older and the world changed, that right there can't change for me because that's how I understand what type of person that's how I see how genuine you are, like how you move, like how respectful you are, like what your mindset is like. I can't get all of that over the phone.
I agree. I
I
agree. I mean,
absolutely agree with that.
yeah, sure. I'm the same way too. And that's why I said I was just saying as I would see it, because nowadays it's very quickly to be called a creep. Now I haven't experienced it, but I'm saying It's very easy now.
Well, that's because these young girls unfortunately don't a good template to follow. You know what I'm saying? They have the social media template, they have all the other templates that detach you from real life, right? And this is why the divorce rates are so, this is why all
Right.
of this kind of stuff is going on, right? Because you don't have the skills to be able to sustain anything. So it's something you think if you looking at social media, talking about couples goals and relationship goals and all that, I mean, that stuff is, that stuff ain't even real. And you waiting on sunshine and rainbows all day, but can't you stay in the rain? Like, you know what I'm saying?
That's
It
true.
don't happen that way. You have to be able to sustain. And a lot of this younger generation does not have it in them to sustain because
Yeah,
they
to
haven't built
decipher.
a foundation, right? They haven't built a foundation.
And
Okay?
what you see, a lot
Honey,
of what you see might be true, but it's only part
no,
of the story, right? You see these dates, you see the cruises, you see the flowers,
Hmm.
but you don't see where he's buying it with her debit card or
All the behind the scenes, yep.
yeah, all the behind the scenes stuff. So you get, how can you describe it? I mean, half truths you see, but there are a lot of things that are hidden.
Yeah,
And on a side
We go
note,
back to perception
focus
again.
on
Everything's
they're only
perception.
putting what's good. You're not seeing the bad that
That's what I
goes
was
with
gonna
right,
say.
they
it.
only
Everything's
show the good.
perception.
But
Everything's perception.
they frame it very well. On a side note, y'all are old. Y'all were out before cell phones and the internet. But go
Don't do that.
carry
You
on.
were too. You know we had to beef, so stop playing. You had to
Carry
get
on.
beef. You had to find a phone to call somebody back. Stop playing.
You know, I thought about that just yesterday. Someone posted a picture, a nostalgic picture about herringbones, and you know, if women had the herringbone, that was it. And
Herringbones
someone
and Figaro's.
in Figaro, someone tagged me, right? And I thought back to those days when we didn't have cell phones, pagers, no social media, internet, anything. You had to like be a man or woman of your word. If you said, "Hey, I'm coming to such and such," or "Yeah, I'll be at my auntie's house this weekend. Hey, I'll be there around 7." You literally had to have a car or a ride or some mode of transportation and be there at 7. There was no way to call, no way to verify. But, you know, when you were around each other, there were no distractions either. I see people out to dinner and everybody at the table looking at their cell phone.
Phone. Yeah, but they phones, yeah, that's a fact.
Yeah, in the past, it's like you were there, you were with that person. They had your undivided attention.
Yeah, that's one of my pet peeves though too. If I ever take a female out, phones gotta go away. Phones gotta go away for a little while.
Okay. So you have an old soul, man.
Yeah, that does annoy me because it's like, are you really? What are you really here for?
Don't lose that either. Keep that.
But Koshan, is that
Yes.
possible for people to go for a dinner or for a lunch, then they put their phones away? Is it possible? Like in Africa here, it's not.
Yeah.
In Africa here, no, it's not.
It's not.
Okay, so I haven't introduced myself. I'm coming from Zambia, Africa,
Oh, welcome,
and I
welcome.
heard
Welcome.
Albert.
Welcome.
Albert
We would like your
was
feedback.
very. Yes, Albert was very offensive. I don't know if he was talking about me to say, no, I'm coming from Africa and maybe I'm not welcome. I don't know. If I told I'm not welcome, just you can just remove me from.
No. She wasn't talking about you. You're welcome. She wasn't talking about you. It was the other
Oh,
guy
you're
that
good.
chimed in with the
Yeah,
profanity.
we're talking about the other person. Is it Albert? He
Yeah.
was very offensive. He said, "I'm
Yeah,
from
that's what
Africa."
she was
And
talking to. Very offensive. And you have people that will come in and spam your podcast just to try to interrupt the recordings, but he's blocked. But we would like to know your views, right? How do you feel about, and even if it's just theoretical, you could be married or whatever your situation is. How do you feel about being a part of a woman's rotation, being on a roster? As long as she's, well, I can't say what the requirements are. How would you feel about it, and what stipulations must be in place?
okay, for here in Africa, it's a different situation here. We've got our beliefs and our beliefs and our customs that we follow. So it's very different. And for women, for women in Africa, yeah, up to this generation, they are very submissive to men when it comes to marriage issues and relationship.
What
So
part of Africa are you in? What country are you in?
I'm in Zambia.
Okay, I'm making my
I
reservations now.
mean,
Go ahead.
yes, but you know where the country is, right?
Yes.
Yes, southern part of Africa, yes. So here in Africa, yes, it's very different, but rotation, I think for men they don't actually face such situations, but for women, yes. For women, it's very, very common to do an rotation, but not for men.
Someone's music.
My music playing.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry about.
Okay, so yes, so I was saying in Africa here, women are on the rotation, yes, but not men, no. For men,
Oh,
it's yes. For men, it's not that layer. But for me, women, yes, women are usually on a rotation. And on my part, if such a situation could happen, I would leave the relationship. Yes, I would
oh, you
leave
would
the
leave the
relationship.
relationship? Oh man, is that
Yes.
fair to the women?
Come again?
Do you think that is fair that you get to have a rotation or several options, but the woman does not? So you said if she
Okay.
tries to have a rotation, you're going to leave the relationship?
Okay. So for me, I would say women in Africa, or maybe sexual activities in Africa, they are very, very careless when it comes to that. So
Mm,
you'd notice to say what would happen is you would get STIs, sexually transmitted disease,
right.
protection. Yes, we are rarely protected. So that's the issue. But for coming to fairness, I don't think it's really fair. Yes. Yes, on my part, I don't think it's really fair just to put women on rotation, but us, we are not on rotation. Yes,
So if you
it's not.
if you met someone and you were interested, maybe a coworker or just someone that you met, and she said to
Mhm.
you, I think you are a nice person, but I have other friends as well. Are you willing to be one of her friends in hope of maybe advancing that friendship into a relationship?
Yes, I would. I would. Yes, I would love to go in a relationship with them, but the thing is, it's just very, very, very risky in Africa to be on a rotation. That's a problem. But going on a date, just maybe having lunch and dinner, that is okay for me. But
Okay.
not going on a sexual relationship, no. Yeah,
Okay.
but
Exclusive. That has to be with just that one person, and you want to be the only person.
that's really true. But I can't say I've never been on a rotation because women are very, very secretive, and it's very difficult to know if at all they've slept with anybody. Yeah, it's very difficult. I remember when I was in the university, I had a doc. Yes, I had a doc girlfriend. Yes.
Hmm.
Then yeah, I never knew to say I was on a rotation. So what happened was that we liked each other and we went on we went on dates several times. But the thing is, there was a time when her boyfriend, the previous boyfriend she had, the one she told me to say no, the relationship ended.
Hmm.
Yes, he had an accident. So when he had an accident, that's when I got to know to say the guy was still there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So yes. So there were several times whereby I was on a distant relationship. So I could visit a place, but I never knew to say the guy who used to go that side as well. Yeah. So I got to know that the time when the guy got into an accident and then he died. That's a tragedy that happened. Then that's when I got to know to say I was on a rotation. Yes, but
Oh, wow.
I never. Yes, but I never took it so soft. So what I just did was just to cut off everything. But I gave her time to heal and everything. Then when she healed, yeah, that's when I used to say, come again?
So after you gave her time to heal, then you ended the relationship?
No, I gave her time. Then like she never recovered from the lost love that from the person she lost. Yes. So as a result of that, I was very, very hurt. Even after the guy died, but she never recovered, and she was just very, very heartbroken. Like she wasn't ready to be in another relationship. That's the thing I could say. So as a result of that, I just left the relationship because I tried. Because after the accident, I stayed for about 9 months.
Oh wow, that's a
Dating
long
her,
time. So
yes,
you
but
tried to make things work.
I really tried, yes. But the thing is, the woman was still posting about this, the same guy who died and everything. So she never recovered from it. So as a result of that, I just left the relationship. So that's what happened.
Ladies, do you have any
But,
follow-up questions, ladies?
follow-up questions for the same
For
girl,
you.
for the
I'm
same
asking the
girlfriend?
ladies if they have any follow-up questions for you.
Okay, yes. They can come in if at all they've heard the story. Yes, no, there's no problem.
And we have
I
also
just think it's interesting that's the dynamic like that, to know that that's the dynamic in Africa, that the men can have a rotation and the women cannot. Because it's not much different over here, right? Women do it, but it's the same taboo. It's the same shouldn't be being done. Double
yes,
standard.
you
You know
differently.
what I'm
Yes,
saying?
yes,
Yeah. So I think that's just it's clearly that's just how it's done around the world. Like there's always just going to be a double standard, and for some reason, women just are not looked upon as being able to do the same types of things that men do, and that's unfortunate.
that's going to be a topic for another show. And why? Why do we think it's like that?
I think it's
Okay,
just how people are raised.
but the thing is, the world is changing. The world is changing, and women are getting very educated in Africa. So it's a 50-50, even though some women, they're still very submissive. Because here, when you want to marry a woman, what normally happens is that they will train a woman how to keep their husband. But a man won't be trained anything. That's the problem. So,
I agree. So
yeah,
she's trained in how to be a good wife, but he doesn't get trained in how to be a good husband.
yes, that's the
That
issue
happens
that
here
comes
also.
in.
That happens in America.
That's the same way here. Yep, it's the same way here. Yep,
Oh, it's a
So
cool way.
are trained,
it
yes, a
is.
lot of women are trained to be wives and mothers, if nothing else, how to be a mother. And men are taught to work. They used to be providers, but now it's like a lot of men provide for themselves. You know, they are selfish. They think about their outfits and sneakers and cars and video games, even grown men, before they think about their children and their family. A lot of men aren't trained to be the sacrificial provider where, hey, I'll eat what's left, or the kids ate good, that's fine. I'll eat a sandwich. You know, a lot of men don't have that selflessness. They aren't taught that.
I heard Debra. Is it Debra?
Yes, Deborah.
Yeah. Yes, she talked about women going out with hot old women 45 in age of range of 45 to 50 women going out with 25 men. Here in Africa, it's a taboo. It's a taboo. So for that, you cannot go out with a old woman.
Oh
Of
wow.
course, you can. The problem is people will be talking, and people, yeah, they'll actually see that as a taboo. Yes. So that's a problem in Africa. So yeah.
But they'll have a lot. Yeah, Deborah, in Africa, what you said is taboo. So, and Tavana agreed. Tavana was like in their mid 40s. They're at the age where they can date daddy or son. Son's dad's 45, son's 25, or dad's 55, son's 35, and
Right.
they're right in the
We
middle.
can all fall in.
Okay. So the other thing is you'd notice to say, for me, the girlfriend I was dating, the reason why I said it was a taboo, yes. I don't know if that side medicine, they are doing it for 7 years. Is it? Yeah, I mean, being a medical doctor
Yeah, it takes about
is
that time.
yes.
Yeah,
So when I got in the university, my first year, the woman I was dating, she completed. She completed and she was in the industry working. So
hmm
we just got to meet in the university games called the varsity games.
right.
Yes, because I play soccer as well. So what happened was that the same woman I met, she was in the late 39, and I was in 25 there. But she was very scared to tell me, her age. So she asked me to say no. She was actually very smart. She asked me to say no. How old are you? Then when I told her, then that's when she had to reduce her age. She said, we are age mate actually. So as a result of that, we can go to out together. Then when we went on a couple of dates, then what happened was now she felt guilty and she wanted to tell me her real age. So she told me, then she even showed me her NRC. Yeah, that was the time we went on a date. We went out and we slept together. We had a night together. Yes. So that night she told me to say no, this age. Then yeah, I got used. I fell in love and everything. So as a result of that, I did not even have any option but just to keep things between us, just like that. Yeah.
How did you
And I was
feel?
okay with it.
You were okay with it?
No,
Okay.
for me, I was okay with it. But in the first place, she lied. Yeah. But she was looking so young and so beautiful. Yeah.
So
So
she's practicing now?
um,
She's still practicing as a doctor?
she's still practicing as a doctor, but we actually broke up.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry to hear that, man.
We actually broke up.
This is
So that's the
interesting.
thing.
We're getting to learn a lot about, the cultural differences and similarities, the things that, you do there that we also do here.
Hmm.
And I will say that it happens. I don't know if it's like openly just accepted or applauded when a young man dates an older woman, but it happens. I think
Okay.
here, a lot of men here are immature to the women. How do you feel about that, Tavana or Deborah? I mean, it's one thing to date a younger man when you're looking to, you got a itch that needs to be scratched. But as far as a marriage or a serious relationship, what do you think the compatibility is like here in the U.S. with younger men and older women?
I mean, if I think if you have somebody like the young man that's on this call, it's, that's fine, right? Because
Right.
he seems to not be 25-ish, right? But most of them aren't like that. You know what I'm saying? And so there is no compatibility really because you're not going to be able to have conversation. You're not going to be able to do certain things. You know what I mean? So it's like, nah.
So outside of the bedroom, it's like, all right, good night, time to go.
Right. Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, there are though there have been times where I've gotten better conversations out of a younger guy, better energy, better time, like out of a younger guy than an older guy. You know what I'm saying? it just really just all depends on where the younger guy is within himself. Like, if he is like, more of an older soul, if he's grown up a lot in those years and, is kind of on a different path or has a different mindset than the normal 25-year-old or 30-year-old, then you can kind of feel it out and kind of see, if it's somebody you kind of want to keep around, even though they're a little younger. But some of the older ones,
They were, yep, exactly. Right. That's why I say the range. If somebody, like I'm 44, if somebody were to say, what's your dating range? Like my oldest child is 28, so I would have to say 29, 29 to 55. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because I wouldn't date somebody who was younger than my child. Like, I mean, he would have to be somebody really special for me to, you know what I'm saying, do that, because my oldest child, yeah, like my oldest child is 28. So to have somebody that was younger than my oldest child, he would have to really show and prove that he is just, the age is really nothing but a number.
I agree
That's
with you,
something. And for me, I would never ever even think about a younger woman. That's setting
And
us
so
both up for failure.
you know what somebody told me? They were like, they would never date a younger woman because like he still thinks about it like in terms of if she was younger. Like
Right,
if she's
right.
10 years younger than him,
Yeah.
he in his mind, when he was 26, she was
She was
16. That's
16.
a no,
Right.
like,
And
you know
that's
what
a
I'm
no
saying?
go.
Like
Right.
it don't matter now that she's 36 and he's 46. He still sees her as like,
And
nah, like
that's
it,
how I am.
yeah.
I have nieces, and, you know, my oldest niece in her 40s. But I look at her peers as no, you know, my other nieces that are in their 30s, definite no, no. Any young lady that's in her 30s, I'm looking at it like, you know what? When you were born, I was like in high school. I was a 10th, 11th grader, right? So I'm always going to view you that way. And I don't care if you're 30 now, you're still a little girl to me. And I'd be setting myself up for failure, both of us, because, you know, my expectations, and unless it's something rare, you know, these young girls aren't, yeah, they aren't like the guy I talked about earlier. The young ladies with his generation, it's all about me, I, take me here, buy me this. We went on this trip, we traveled there. And yeah, that's not where I am. So I don't think there'll be any compatibility.
Okay, so here in Africa, I think it's it's not about how old you are. I mean, for men they go out with younger women. Even where I'm working as a teacher.
Uh-huh.
So yes. So the thing is, I see my fellow teachers going out with pupils, going out with pupils.
Oh, they're gonna drop that over.
Very young people. So
Yeah,
that's
they're gonna
that's the
Yeah,
drop
thing.
that over
So
that's a crime here. They go to jail,
yeah, they
prison
go
for
to
that.
jail for that. Yeah.
yes, yes, but here you'd notice to say even parents, some of the parents, when they hear that, they actually they actually even they actually even welcome it. That's a problem because maybe it's because of the level of illiteracy in some of the parents. They don't know like the law. That's a problem. But I've seen it even in the universities for lecturers going out with students, very young students, very odd lecturers going out with very young students. I've seen that. Yeah. And for that, I remember we used to have a hard time, a very, very hard time to date young women because we were students and we could not meet their needs. So as a result of that, lecturers could meet their needs when they could. So that was the problem.
So
So
because older guys can meet their needs and you all couldn't.
we couldn't meet their needs. So as a result of it, it was very difficult for us to date.
That happens,
Yeah.
and I'm teasing now. That was Savannah. She had the Marine guys buying her gifts when she was in high school, and
Don't do that.
the poor high school kids didn't stand a chance writing their little letters in class.
Yeah, sorry.
Uh,
I was shopping at Donna, Karen, and Nautica. I was not thinking about it.
and they're trying to bring you a Happy Meal.
No. Mm-mm. Nope.
He said a happy meal. I was gonna say
Mm-mm.
the first time.
Mm-mm.
I
I
can
don't want it.
understand, but that happened. It wasn't a major age gap, but between
Yeah,
two to
it wasn't a
five
major
years.
age gap. Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
I was 16 and they were like 19 or 20.
18,
So it
19,
wasn't.
right,
Yeah,
right.
it wasn't. It wasn't.
And that was
I didn't feel like
common,
I was getting taken advantage of for nothing. My
right.
parents didn't feel like I. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like some
I
30
waited
year
my
old
turn.
or
I waited my turn when I was younger, and all the girls dated the seniors. We were freshmen; they dated the seniors. We were 14. The guys are 17 or 16. So I was like, you know what? When I become a junior or senior, and I'll have all the freshman girls or the younger girls. Not too
I
young,
remember when
but
we got to college, like if you lived in like the freshman dorm, the dudes would like line
oh,
up
they swarmed around the
and
freshman dorm.
swarm up
That's what you
like
do.
on the day of
The first day, when move-in day,
your parents,
you
like they
need
got
help,
the
they
chauffeurs
carrying, oh yeah,
running.
we would
Oh
carry
my God.
suitcases and introduce you. I met many dads, shook hands and helped them carry the luggage and hey, yes sir, I'm a math major. If you need anything, here's this building, that building. That's where everybody hung out
They
around the
used to
freshman
call
dorm.
it the meat locker. The
Yeah.
meat locker. Yes.
That's
Crazy.
crazy.
We're down to our 2 hours have passed. We're down to our closing 2 minutes, you all. But so continue. But that
Well,
was
this was
common.
great. I love the perspective. It was great to have someone on who was a little younger than us to give us
Yes.
another perspective and then someone international to give us another perspective.
Right.
So this was dope.
Yeah, really.
Right.
I want you all to come back. We're here every Friday, and we
They
definitely
can
welcome you all back.
subscribe and all of that so you can get, news flashes of when we're coming on and things like that. So
Right.
definitely.
It was a great show as
You guys
usual.
have any closing remarks, questions, or comments?
No, thank you. Thank you for just inviting me. Let me in.
Make sure you subscribe. You share, definitely share with others and invite your friends in. We have different topics every week. I'm basically here as a moderator and I can chime in if we do not have a lot of people on the panel. But I like to hear your perspectives. Well, I think that the listeners and our panelists, they know me pretty well. They've heard my feedback on a lot of topics. But I like to hear what you all have to say.
All right. Thank you, Kushon. Thank you, everyone. See you on Friday.
See you on Friday.
And Masato,
Good
uh,
night, everyone.
good night. We will see you all next week. And thank you for joining us.